What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. And today we are rolling right along with my 7 round team mock draft series. Today we've landed on the team with the second overall pick. If you guys missed, number one, I know the Bears hold the number one overall pick, but we did the Carolina Panthers because that was technically their pick. So the Bears will probably be within a week or two. We landed on number two, and that is the Washington Commanders. Now, the Commanders are a team that quite often over the past, I guess I'd say 5 years, have really been in constant turmoil in terms of front office, ownership, scandals, player personnel, turnover, all that kind of stuff. And they find themselves with a new owner now. They're looking for a new regime. They're looking for a new GM. They just fired Ron Rivera on Black Monday as well. They're looking for a fresh start. So that's why I feel like this would be just one of the more perfect mock drafts to knock out right out of the way. But since I do it in draft order, they just so happen to be the second team. So this is always actually one of my favorite videos to do because Commanders fans are so much fun to interact with on YouTube. I mean, they really are. They're a great fan base. I have a lot of fun commenting with them. And the Washington Commanders or Redskins a couple years ago mock draft has always been one of my more successful videos of the year. So looking forward to that again this year. And thank you guys so much. I just want to say before we start this, I know I tend to ramble on a little bit before every video, but I'm just so grateful. I really am. The response to the 7 round mock draft series coming back was unbelievable in the Panthers mock draft. I really, really appreciate from the bottom of my heart everyone coming out and being so supportive that they loved this series. I really thought no one even cared about this series, to be quite honest with you. I just enjoyed doing it, but seeing that other people enjoy it just makes me want to do it that much more. So from the bottom of my heart, I really, really appreciate that. Not only that, we went over 8,000 subscribers on Monday as well. So I really, really appreciate that. That is awesome. At the beginning of this draft cycle, when I said that I wanted to be at 10,000 subscribers before the 2024 NFL draft, I really thought that was more of a pipe dream, kind of like a ha ha ha, yeah, maybe we'll see. And the more that the days go on, it's becoming more and more of a reality. So that would be absolutely incredible if I could do that. If not, it is what it is. But you guys have just been amazing with your continued support, and I really, really can't thank you enough. Now, let's get into this mock draft. Now, the Washington Commanders have the number 2 overall pick. So right off the bat, this is super interesting. As you see, the mock draft engine has the Chicago Bears taking Drake Maye number 1 overall. Now, let's be real. I think if they do take a quarterback number 1 overall, it will be Caleb Williams. But I do think this is more of a reality than people think, Caleb Williams dropping past the number 1 overall pick. Drake Maye seems like he could be a candidate for a team to trade up. I'm thinking maybe someone like the Patriots. But Washington, I would have preferred, as you guys know, I'm doing this series as how I would draft a team, based off needs and based off best player available, all that kind of stuff. I have to take Caleb Williams here. I understand that, and I am. But I was really looking to trade down. No one offered to move up here, so I was kind of puzzled by that. But with Caleb Williams on the board here, a fresh start, a new regime, I think that Eric Bieniemy was going to be the new head coach because it was kind of a linear hire from Bieniemy's perspective, because you go from one of the best offenses in the NFL with one of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes, and you make a linear move to the same position in Washington. It always puzzled me. I thought maybe it was going to lead to, hey, we're going to fire Riverboat Ron regardless of how we do this season, so you're going to take his place. So I would think if it's Bieniemy, if it's anyone, regardless, with a new GM and a new head coach, you're going to want to get your franchise guy. And that's going to be Caleb Williams. He comes home. He's from the area as well. It just seems kismet at this point. So Caleb Williams will be the first pick in this Washington Commanders 7 round mock draft. Now with the 36th overall pick, I mean, this is just a sensational bank of draft capital that the new GM is going to have to work with. I mean, let's look at these picks here. 2, 36, 40, 67, 96, 98, 132, 163, and 194. Honestly, even if I wanted to move down, I don't really think I need a whole lot. We have 6 picks inside the top 100. That is amazing. But we got Caleb Williams, our new franchise guy, with the number 2 overall pick. Now we have to look at an offensive tackle here. I mean, regardless of who has been out there for the Washington Commanders this year, their offensive line has been really poor. Now, I know that a lot of the sacks that Sam Howell did take this season actually were really more so on him for holding onto the ball a little bit too long, but the offensive line has just really taken a massive hit. I mean, whether it's the interior or the tackles itself, it needs a massive overhaul. So I'm really looking at Tyler Guyton here, who's going to be my pick with the number 36 overall selection out of Oklahoma. A really big athletic guy. He's not truly polished just yet. A lot of teams are banking off of his athleticism. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. Arguably, maybe besides for Kingsley Suamatia, is probably the most athletic tackle in the entire draft class. Or I guess maybe Troy Fautanu, but Fautanu, in my opinion, is probably going to be more of a guard or a center at the next level. But Guyton is a really, really interesting prospect here. He needs a little bit of development, but I mean, quite honest with you, I think that he already is better than whatever the Washington Commanders are going to parade out there, whether it be Charles Leno, Sadiq Charles, whoever it may be. He is going to be better. He's going to be younger. And I just think it's the perfect thing. You get your franchise quarterback. Now you're going to get your potential franchise left tackle as well. You're just building some of the most important positions through the draft right away. So Guyton will be the pick here for me at number 36. Now, we didn't have to go too far. We are at pick number 40 here. As I mentioned before, just an incredible bank of draft capital to work with here. As someone who does a ton of mock drafts, I'm like salivating looking at this. I would love to trade up and down, but really no one has offered it. And the offers that I have received weren't even really noteworthy to show you guys. They've been pretty bad. But at number 40 here, I'm really, really torn because the Washington Commanders, despite having one of the best tandems in the NFL and the interior defensive line in Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. And they have really good depth there too. Phidarian Mathis as well, John Ridgeway, guys like that. But the edge is just, after trading away Montez Sweat, after trading away Chase Young, it's just completely barren on the outside. I mean, the only guy that I could think of, two guys are Casey Toohill and maybe KJ Henry are the two guys that I could think of off the top of my head that are listed on the depth chart at the edge position. But at the same time here, do I want to take another weapon? Do I want to take a Jatavion Sanders here? I'm really, really torn. I really think the edge needs to be upgraded. There are some interesting tight ends down the board that I might be willing to look at. So I'm going to stick with the defensive pick here. JT Tuimoloau is going to be the pick for me here. Exactly. I don't know if there's going to be a new defensive coordinator that's going to come in and maybe switch to a more 3-4 based defense where you have Daron Payne as your nose tackle, Jonathan Allen maybe as your defensive end or your defensive tackle, and then you bring someone else in. But JT Tuimoloau, 6'4", 275 pounds, is a true game wrecker off the edge for Ohio State. What I usually like to tag with him is, if you ever want proof of just how much of a game wrecker or a game changer he could be, look up his game or his highlights against Penn State in 2022. He legitimately won that game for Ohio State. He was everywhere. I believe he had 2 sacks, a pick six, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble. He was absolutely incredible the entire game. He was just unbelievable. And I think that this is a great nucleus to start because, as I mentioned before, you get a franchise quarterback, you potentially get your franchise left tackle, and now you're getting an edge rusher. These are also, you're resetting the cap essentially, because even though that these are going to be expensive contracts, they're not going to be second expensive contracts just yet. You know what I'm saying? You're resetting your edge market, you're resetting your tackle market, and you're resetting your quarterback market as well. So I think it's just from a financial standpoint as well as just accruing talent on your pretty barren roster. I think it's just really the smart move. But Tuimoloau is a fantastic player. I was also considering Braylon Trice, but I think he's more of a fringe round 1 guy. I could see him going to 27 or 28 to the Houston Texans, or maybe even to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to stick with JT Tuimoloau here at pick number 40. At pick number 67 here for the Washington Commanders, I'm going to look at the secondary. There was a lot of things going through my head here. I'm looking at interior offensive line. I'm still looking at tight end here, but the secondary is something that, was just a massive disappointment this year, especially after adding guys like Quan Martin and Emmanuel Forbes as well. Those are young players that are going to develop, and Quan Martin has actually played really, really nicely down the stretch. Emmanuel Forbes had a really up and down rookie season. I expect him to get much, much better. He's more of a boomer bust type of corner anyway. He's going to be ultra aggressive to try and make the play. I think we need a little bit of size on the outside for the Washington Commanders, especially Kendall Fuller has arguably been their best corner for quite some time now, for a few years at least. He is set to become a free agent, also closer to 30, if not 30 already. So I'm not sure how much I'm willing to give a cornerback that's probably going to command more than $10 million a year into going into his age 30 or beyond season, I'm not sure how much I want to give away that type of money, especially new regime. Like I said, probably going to be a little bit more cost effective the first couple of years, looking to get younger at certain positions. I really like Max Melton out of Rutgers here. I did an NFL draft diamond short on him a few months ago, 6 foot, 190 pounds, but plays a lot stronger than that. This is someone that actually went up against Marvin Harrison Jr. a couple times in college so far and has done really, really well. So that is something that's very telling right off the bat as a boundary corner. He could certainly hold his own, and Rutgers is sort of kind of like a breeding ground for like secondary players. I feel like I see a lot of guys coming out of Rutgers right away. You think of the McCourty twins as guys like that coming out of the secondary, but Max Melton coming out of Rutgers, I really, really think that this would be a smart move to kind of establish maybe working on the secondary a little bit more in the middle rounds. I'm not in love with, I think the three positions that I already took are probably the top three. Corner is something that definitely needs to be addressed early-ish. So I think at this point, at the beginning of the third round here, this would be a great time to kind of take advantage of the draft capital and take someone like Max Melton, who's going to test really, really well at the combine. Maybe not a name that you know off the top of your head right now, but I could easily see him maybe even moving up into, round 2 consideration when the time comes. And at pick number 96, this is where I'm going to pull the trigger on a tight end here. Logan Thomas is, for someone that has changed, positions like he's changed underwear in his NFL career, I mean, he's done a really good job. He's still a tight end that I would consider. I'm actually not sure off the top of my head if he's a free agent or not. He's someone that I would consider bringing back for a year or two. John Bates, Cole Turner, these guys don't really do it for me. I'm really looking at Jaheim Bell here out of Florida State. Now, with Jaheim Bell, you're going to get more of the receiving aspect of the tight end position. So just kind of like a big bodied slot guy. He's 6'4", 235 pounds, so he's really not going to do much blocking, but he is an ultra weapon out of the tight end position. Super athletic, huge catch radius, and I mean, we're just getting another weapon here. Now you have Terry McLaurin on one side, you have Jahan Dotson. I don't know if they're going to bring back Curtis Samuel. We will address that a little bit later on, but getting Caleb Williams, a big-bodied, huge safety blanket that's reliable, that's athletic, that's a vertical threat as well. That's something that Washington Commanders they haven't taken really advantage of that from Cole Turner. That was a big part of his game coming out of Nevada, I want to say, but they haven't taken advantage of that. They haven't had a tight end that could stretch the field really since Vernon Davis. So I'm going to take Jaheim Bell here at number 96. Then at the beginning of round 4 here with pick number 98, I'm going to look to the interior of the offensive line. The struggles have been documented. Nick Gates, the starting center. Ricky Stromberg, when I think he only played like 28 snaps in his rookie season, he was the 3rd round pick last year. Someone that I think they were trying out at the guard position, I want to say, but he's really more of a center. So I feel like if they want to move on from Nick Gates, they could kind of put Ricky Stromberg at his more natural position at center, and then they need to draft someone. Chris Paul has, not been it. The 7th round, second-year man, I want to say, out of Tulsa, has not been it. He's been pretty atrocious. Sam Cosme has been the best offensive lineman that the Washington Commanders have. That's really something to build off of there. But I want to address the interior of the offensive line. Zach Zinter sitting here way down the board doesn't make much sense to me. This is someone that I thought could have been a high day 2 pick, kind of slid down the board as the season went on, but the versatility, man, is really something that gets to me as well. 6'5", 322 pounds, has experience at the tackle position, has a lot of experience at the guard position. This is a line, if you're going to invest this much in Caleb Williams at the beginning of this new regime, you're going to have to invest in your offensive line. And Zach Zinter is someone that not only can start right away at guard, but someone that could even be a swing tackle as well, depending on what they do in free agency. You just need to bolster your offensive line. It's a very volatile position. You need as many good offensive linemen as you can get, especially with a rookie quarterback. So Zach Zinter is going to be the pick here for me at number 98. At number 132 here in the 5th round, we are going to take Malik Washington out of Virginia. Malik Washington spent the first 3 years of his career at Northwestern. 5'8", 185 pounds. So he's not going to blow you away with his size. He's also not going to necessarily blow you away with his athleticism, but he was in a run first offense for the first 3 years of his collegiate career. He transfers to Virginia. He goes for 110 catches for 1,426 yards and 9 touchdowns out of primarily the slot position. And this is someone that I think could be a natural replacement to Curtis Samuel, someone that you could put all over the formation and he's going to win. He's going to get you those tough yards in the middle of the field, despite being a smaller player. He just wins, and he's got a great route running ability, and he's a menace in after the catch situations. I think this is a perfect replacement for Curtis Samuel if they let him walk. I think he was a little bit disappointing this year, but this is a really, really nice replacement. That's a really nice receiving trio. Then you add Jaheim Bell. You got a nice young receiving core for your new franchise quarterback. And number 136 here, I'm going to get a little bit more linebacker depth for the Commanders here. Tyrese Knight out of UTEP is a player that I really, really enjoyed watching. He just announced that he is going to be going to the Senior Bowl as well, so something to keep your eye on, as well as a mid to late round prospect here. 6'2", 235 pounds, really, really athletic and a good coverage linebacker as well. Also added a new wrinkle to his game this past year. He never had more than 1 sack in a season. He had 5 sacks this past season for UTEP. Just an all-around great player. 84 solo tackles in 12 games is tremendous as well. He's just one of those guys that's going to go out there. He's not going to blow you away with anything. He doesn't do anything particularly elite, but he's a good coverage linebacker. He's a sound tackler. And really, at this point in the draft, in the 6th round at 163, that's all you could ask for, is a player that's going to be a quality backup or someone that could even spot start and be really, really good. So that's what Tyrese Knight brings to the table, and I think that's what the Washington Commanders defense needs in the middle of the defense. And then with the last pick in this 7th-round Washington Commanders mock draft here at pick number 194, the second pick in the 7th round, I'm going to take a flyer here on Xavier Thomas. I love Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. He's 6'2", 245 pounds. Off the edge, that's not necessarily elite. But what is elite is his blistering speed and athleticism. 4.49 apparently is what he's going to be running around that area for an edge rusher. Now, I know at 245, 4.49 is impressive, but not super impressive as someone like maybe Byron Young last year ran for the Rams. I think he was like 262 pounds, ran like a 4.49 or something like that. Be that as it may, he hasn't really put it together as a pass rusher, but I'm banking off of that athleticism, and that's someone that could be a quality pure pass rusher, someone that you bring down in pass rushing downs, and his pure speed can just win his assignment right away. So Xavier Thomas is going to be my last pick for this 2024 Washington Commanders mock draft. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my full 7-round 2024 Washington Commanders mock draft. At number 2 overall, we got Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC. You already know. 36, Tyler Guyton, an extremely athletic tackle out of Oklahoma. At 40, you have JT Tuimoloau, a game wrecker out of Ohio State off the edge. Max Melton brings a lot of boundary ability from Rutgers at number 67. At 96 and 98, you get extremely athletic, versatile tight end in Jaheim Bell and a guard or a tackle in Zach Zinter. At number 132, you get Malik Washington, a natural slot replacement for Curtis Samuel out of Virginia. 163, Tyrese Knight, a really nice athletic coverage linebacker. And then with the last pick at 194, you get Xavier Thomas, a super athletic speedster off the edge out of Clemson. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my full 7-round 2024 Washington Commanders mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I will be getting to your favorite team very, very soon. Thank you guys again so much today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one. Thank you.